I've really enjoyed talking to you about some of these people that I've met over the years. One that I met very early on and had terrific sort of hands-on involvement with me in terms of helping me was a guy called Philip Vogel. I had been saved and then came to a place of fresh dedication to God. My life was in a real mess and I didn't really know many Christian people at all. I went to a big Baptist church, but you didn't get to know people there. My parents were not Christian. I was kind of isolated, but I used to commute every day to London by train. And I now, with this fresh dedication to Jesus, had an hour to read morning and evening. So I began to devour Christian books, particularly at the beginning, Christian testimony. Jungle Pilot was the first one I read, story of Nate Saint, who flew the 5 Ecuador martyrs to their death. And then Jim Elliot, and then Hudson Taylor, and C.T. Studd. And I just loved reading about these guys, and they really motivated me. But they were kind of in another world, another time. I needed someone close. And I'm so grateful to God that I was introduced to Phil and Hilary Vogel at this time, because they said to me, come round any time. And I needed somewhere like that I could go. As I say, my parents were not Christian, and I needed to learn so much. And I used to pop into Phil and Hilary's, and he was just an outstanding example to me, because actually he was an evangelist living by faith. So I'd read about these guys, and now here's a real life one that I know. He wasn't supported by anybody. Gifts came, and he made it work. And he used to go from house to house, and he started a Monday night prayer fellowship, which was informal. It was about, I don't know, maybe 10 of us used to gather in his home. And he said at the beginning, I want to do a Bible study, but it's not just a Bible study. Let's say, as we come to do this together, it's just a group of my kind of age, early 20s, let's believe every promise and obey every command. And I kind of said, yeah, but he meant it. And so he, after a while, said, right, he says, be witnesses, so let's go. Let's all go from house to house. Well, that scared the life out of me. And it was one of the first things that led me to get baptized in the Holy Spirit. And then the whole group got filled with the Spirit. And that became a wonderful place to be on a Monday night as we worshipped and prayed together. Eventually, I myself felt called to leave my secular job. I would never have done it had it not been for Phil's example right in front of me. But God called me. I knew he called me. But after that, Phil and I met together every morning, well, Monday through Friday, in fact, Saturday as well, praying for revival, praying for the Brighton area, day after day. Then in the afternoons, we'd go from house to house. Eventually, Phil himself was invited to become the leader of British Youth for Christ. And so we went separate ways, I guess. But he had a huge, huge influence on me. He wrote a great book called Go and Make Apprentices. That was his whole vision. That's what he did for me. He apprenticed me. He spoke right into my life, gave me an outstanding example, and was such a dear friend at a very, very formative time when I was stepping out of the world into becoming a wholehearted believer. I thank God for Phil's friendship and huge example.